And good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm very pleased to invite you tonight to hear the wonderful music that LatifaNoor has planned for us tonight in honor of Pir Vilayat. I hope you all enjoy. LatifaNoor.
Thank you so much, Habiba, and thank you to all of you for being here. Uh, what I'm going to share tonight has everything to do with my experience with Pir Vilayat at music camps at the Abode. And as I'm looking at some of these faces, I know that some of you were with me there in those days for those beautiful music retreats. Was what they felt like. Thank you also so much to Yakin for inviting me here. And yes, thank you, Habiba, for your hosting. And I've given Habiba way too much music to share because Pir Vilayat, as you know, was overflowing with inspiration and music. So it's been a lot of fun to put this together. Maybe we'll have to do, 6 more sessions to get to all the music. But I want to start to you reading Pir Vilayat's own words. It all starts by letting the organizing faculty of the universe organize itself in our minds and in our emotions. I could quote Johann Sebastian Bach, who says, "The art of my science, the science of my art, nobody knows but myself." He said, "I'm trying to create a model for a human commonwealth, a theme for every instrument a theme, not the submission of one theme over another like a melody and an accompaniment, but every theme contributing toward the whole, and each limiting its prerogative in the interest of the whole." And then he ends by saying, "And this is the harmony of the stars." Bach was composing music by getting into the harmony of the stars. So I'd like to play for you from the C major suite of Bach. All of these 6 suites of Bach's are collections of dance movements, and they all start with a very improvisatory, very whirling prelude, and lots of scales, and it often makes me think of Pir Vilayat up there whirling with the stars. Thank you for your listening hearts. My own experience with Pir Vilayat began in 1992-ish at the Omega Institute, of which he was a founder, with the blessing of my wonderful guide. And as a newly initiated Murid, I attended his workshop there. One day he played a recording of Jacqueline Dupre, who had been an inspiration to me throughout my studies as a cellist. And afterwards, I shared with him that I'd been very fortunate to study with her at the Britten Piers School in England. He, of course, knew Dupre, and I'm sure he also knew of her spectacular gifts, but also her tragic story. And I won't go into that, but if you don't know about Jacqueline Dupre, please do look her up, listen to her recordings, and you'll hear one very soon. He then invited me to attend his upcoming music camp at the Abode, and was very excited about conducting the Bach B minor Mass there. I didn't realize then that we shared a kind of cello silsila. Many of my teachers, Paul Katz and Leonard Rose, studied with some of the same teachers as his teacher, Maurice Eisenberg, who was a student of the great Pablo Casals. In fact, my first position after leaving music school was at the Lange School in Cambridge, a place where his teacher, Maurice Eisenberg, had been a teacher for many years. So I want to share with you the Kol Nidre for cello and orchestra by Max Bruch. It's music that's traditionally shared on Yom Kippur. It's a song of repentance. And it particularly reminds me of Pir, not because I ever heard him play it or heard it when I was with him, but one of the things I'm so grateful to him for is the alchemical retreat. And I've been so fortunate to have many of Pir's Murids shared those wonderful retreats with me. And so I think you'll hear not only Jacqueline Dupre's beautiful cello playing, but you may hear some of Pir Vilayat. And I just want to invite you to down, listen to your breath, and close your eyes. Just let the music flow into your heart. Thank you, Jacqueline Dupre and Pir Vilayat. So I mentioned retreat, and here's a beautiful quote from Pir Vilayat. Like the buds of a plant, qualities are continually burgeoning at the threshold of the unconscious in a bid to blossom forth in our personality. They are paradoxically obstructed by our lack of faith in our capabilities, by their being enshrouded in the unconscious, and by the way we limit ourselves to our totally inadequate self-image. If we bypass our mental constructs, mind games, and categorizations, the unconscious potentials can be aroused by imagery and sound. This is why the creative imagination is so important in unfolding our personality, evoking the hidden artist in us. So that's a prelude to another of Pir Vilayat's favorite pieces by Allegri, Gregorio Allegri, the Miserere. And Allegri was an early Baroque composer, and this piece apparently was only shared on Ash Wednesday at the Vatican. But the story is that Mozart came in, and he was such a genius that he was able to just sit down, and there were 3 copies, and the Vatican wasn't letting them out, and Mozart, by ear, managed to transcribe the whole piece, and that's how it got out of the Vatican and into the world. At least that's the story that Pir Vilayat tells. So, Habiba, when you're ready. So I mentioned to you that Pir Vilayat invited me to his music camp, and he was very excited about Bach B minor Mass. And at that point, my only exposure really had been intensively with Western classical music. So I came to the camp thinking, oh, I'm going to be part of the Bach B minor Mass. And although I loved seeing him conduct that and hearing the choir, and that was wonderful, it turned out there were raga singing classes there. And so that was my first exposure to raga. And some of you who might have attended the celebrations on Monday, if you were there for the hour that Saki Lee shared a video with some photos, and there was Pandit Pranath, who is speaking of lineage, he is a teacher that I was fortunate to have lessons with in the Karana Gharana. Karana is the name of the Indian school. And then also his students, Michael Harrison and Shabda Khan and Terry Riley. But it all happened for me. It was a very powerful experience getting to study raga there at the abode. So this is Rag Yaman, which is an early evening raga, perfect for this time of day. And he's singing Nada Brahma. So in ancient Indian thinking, Nada is Brahma is God, and Nada is sound, the celestial sound, from which all forms of music emanated. So thank you, Habiba, for sharing. And will go on for hours. So unfortunately, I think we'll only have maybe 3 minutes or so, but enjoy.
Right.